Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Looks like we have a few people on already. So I will introduce myself first. My name is Alicia Bement. I am a partner development manager here at E1 Solutions. Selling SmartConnect is near and dear to my heart. It's absolutely one of my favorite tools that E1 sells, as far as automating and just generally making everybody's um, daily systems work together, and making them obviously a lot happier that they're not having to do a lot of the work manually themselves. So let's start out with our agenda today. We are going to be going over, SmartConnect 101. How do we explain what SmartConnect is to our customers? What do we want to show our customers in a demo? How do we qualify and deliver those integrations? And then at the end, we'll also go over, some pricing points, where you want to deliver that pricing and some resources that we have available as well. So let's dive right in here. See if my slides turn in. There we go. So when I explain to customers or partners what SmartConnect is, I like to try and talk in the simplest terms I can think of, right? We don't want to be throwing out big words that people have to think about what they mean, right? So I explain SmartConnect as the engine that allows us to take data from point A to point B and back again if we want. If you know your customer specific system they're integrating with, it's even better, right? So let's take Business Central, for example. You can say SmartConnect allows you to connect your Business Central data to other systems, or SmartConnect allows you to move your Business Central data to other systems. And if you can, I'm a very visual person as well. So if you can tell them to picture, let's say Google Maps, for example, if you're going from point A to point B, how are you going to get there? Okay, you need a car or a bus or a train if you want to be efficient, right? Excuse me, think of SmartConnect as your car or your bus. So yes, you could walk from point A to point B, but there's a lot more effort and it's going to take you a lot more time. So next, we want to be confident and make sure your customer knows you're confident with this tool as well. So, we don't want you to panic when you have a customer come to you with a crazy integration scenario. So how do you explain what SmartConnect does? So when we talk about SmartConnect, we explain you can connect your data between hundreds of different systems, allowing those systems to talk to one another. As you know, integrations are inherently hard, and that is why we built an interface where no matter what system you're connecting to, the setup is always going to look the same. So what does that mean? This means that you can offer repeatable solutions for your customer. No matter what your business scenario they can come to you with, you've got them covered, right? You can transform their data from one system to another so the data matches. You can handle their unique business requirements. You can have their integrations run whenever they want. You can offer them an on-premise or cloud solution as well. So all of this, you can iterate to your customers when explaining what SmartConnect does, right? You've got them covered. Have that confidence. Every customer needs integration. It just comes down to you sitting down with that customer and finding out what that integration need is. Stop, it's demo time. I have to say that right so people maybe get my reference there. So I want to touch on a little, a couple things around demos. As partners, you are the trusted advisor, right? So if you explain to your customer their needs for integration, their wheels will start spinning on how much time and money they will save. So you shouldn't have to wait for your customers to come to you saying, they're desperate, they need this integration right now. So we've had so many of these last minute projects with people begging for help, right? Once again, this goes back to every single customer needs integration. So your goal is to sit down with your customers and find out where those integrations can take out that manual effort and provide that team with, a more effective ways to use their time. So I guess where am I going with this? Oftentimes less is more, right? So we're always so keen to jump right into a demo or build out that fancy demo with all the bells and whistles. If you can stop and talk through those scenarios, oftentimes you're more effective so you don't lose that customer in, that I like to call it like a demo fog, right? We all sit through hours and hours of demos. We start to lose focus. So if you decide to do a demo, just remember, you don't always need to build out a huge integration with the customer's exact scenario to prove the integrations will work. So instead, build out a demo environment that's repeatable, especially if you're specific in different areas. Maybe you're a Zendesk reseller, maybe you're Business Central, maybe you're CRM, etc. So build out those different scenarios that you have some basic integrations between those systems, and talk to those points of your customers' needs and what it will solve for them. However, make sure you know exactly what those needs are, and you should know this by sitting down with them as well, so that way you can talk to those points. And then, of course, there are those customers that do want to see a true proof of concept, and if that's the case, that's completely fine as well. We do have trials that are available for you to exactly for this scenario, right? Maybe just a brief demo, but for those ones that need that proof of concept as well. So I'm going to jump into a demo and show you what we use as a general sales demo for our team. I'm going to talk to some points that I think are really important when we're doing a demo. How do you set yourself up to do those demos and be successful with them? So let's go ahead and jump in. So when we start a demo, depending on the customer scenario, once again, we can see that when we start this demo, make it specific to that business need, right? So let's think about a case that I had last night. This customer said, hey, I want to do a WooCommerce and Nav integration. Okay, great. I don't have that exact scenario built out, but let me show you something and I can talk to those points that you have available. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to do is I have a web form, right, that we have pre-made. And I can now say, hey, think of this as your WooCommerce system, or think of this as your e-commerce system, or whatever it might be. Think of this as your Zendesk system, okay? So whatever this might be, imagine me entering data into this system. So I'm gonna just enter some data in here. For those that caught my reference earlier, stop, it's demo time. Might get this reference now too. So I'm going to just submit this data, okay? Key points to point out here, right? What is SmartConnect doing for us in the background, okay? Normally, somebody would have had to have entered this data manually, taken this data from point A to point B, right? In this case, we haven't touched it. Okay, SmartConnect is going to grab this data for us. It's going to create an invoice inside of our Nav system. I'm using Business Central, but think of it as that Nav system that we mentioned earlier. Completely hands off, right? So this is reducing the risk of manual entry, human error. It's saving a heck of a lot of time moving that data from point A to point B as well. So if we go into our Business Central system, like I said before, the case I had last night was WooCommerce and Nav. So I explained to them, hey, think of this as your Nav system, right? Okay. Let's go ahead and take a look at that invoice that SmartConnect created. Hands off, no human error there. We brought that data in right away, saving us a heck of a lot of time. So we can see that, hey, we created this customer inside of Business Central. And then we also created an invoice for them. Okay, so let's take a look at that invoice and say, here's the invoice, here's the unicycle that we ordered as well. Okay, so this should be a wow factor, right? This just saved the customer, once again, an enormous amount of time. not having to move that data from point A to point B. So the other thing that I like to do is, let's take this a step further. Let's show that SmartConnect can not only do, one thing, it can do multiple things. So let's say that I'm going to go ahead and enter a new, a new invoice. Don't want to edit right now. I'm going to put in a new reference. Make sure my days are correct. Let's say I want to, give them a real bike. Okay. And that all looks right down there. So I'm going to order or enter a new invoice. Okay. So let's talk about a couple things here. If I wanted to use an Excel spreadsheet to create new invoices, I could do that as well with SmartConnect, right? I could, push all those invoices in from one of the templates that we have available, or, I could manually create them inside of an Excel spreadsheet as long as I have those integrations created with SmartConnect, and we can push those in as well. So there's lots of different ways that, we can make things happen for that customer. So I created this new invoice for this customer manually. And the reason I did was, just kind of more for sake of time. I wanted to create that to show you that SmartConnect not only works with just one system. Okay, so I'm going to show you yet a third system now that SmartConnect's working with. So, sometimes I get customers that say, hey, can it only work between, two systems? No, it can work between whatever data systems that you have, right? Once again, you want to feel confident for your customers. It says, hey, we can integrate between, all those different systems that you need data moved between. Okay, so this is just an example of that. So in this case, off of that web form that I submitted, okay, let's think of that as our WooCommerce system. Maybe now I have a CRM system that I want that data to sit inside as well. Okay, so once again, SmartConnect created that account for me, and it created that contact for me as well. Okay, so if I go into here, we can see, hammer time is here. And then, let's talk about that, making that, that scenario specific to that customer needs, okay? So I'm gonna say if my customer, or if this account is set to a customer relationship type, I don't want any data to flow back into my Business Central system unless that's marked as a customer, because I don't want to, clog up any of my data inside of my ERP system. Okay, so SmartConnect allows you to, once again, meet those unique business requirements. You can filter out the data that you want as well, okay? So in this case, I just entered some additional information. At the bottom, what I want to show you, though, is that we also created or took that invoice from Business Central and moved it into our CRM system, okay? So we have this into our CRM system, so we can say, hey, there's additional things that we can do with this integration after that initial integration is completed as well, okay? So in this case, we set up a task for this person to call and say, hey, how's your bicycle doing? Okay, so different things like that we can also do with SmartConnect. Okay, once again, all hands off. Somebody would have had to done this all manually. Okay, so you can also see that other additional invoice that I just created that came in here as well. Okay. If you have more technical people on the call, we always have those consultants or developers that really want to dig in and see, see what's powering these integrations in the back end. So when I show SmartConnect, this is our hosted version. Once again, we do have a different user interface for our on-premise version, but just a reminder, both are available. There are different things that I like to show when doing this demo. Okay, so the connections that we have, right? When you set up a connector inside of SmartConnect, you can use this connection as many times as you want. Okay, so you set up one time, you can use it as often as you want. There's different types of data sources and how you want those to run as well, right? Do we want to bring in all the data at one time? Do we only want to track the changes since the last time those integrations happened, or do we want those integrations to run truly full time? Okay. Under our processes, this is where I like to spend the most time, okay? Because this is showing an actual integration between two different systems, okay? Inside of SmartConnect, this is where we set up the integrations. We tell that data, we want that data to go from point A to point B, okay? So on this first screen, what we'll see is the details of this integrations. We're gonna name that integration something that we remember what it's for. We're gonna give it that description as well. We can add in here any notes as well, okay? So this is a point that I'm gonna talk on a little bit later about delivery as well, but this is something that a couple people can be working on this integration. We can add notes saying, hey, I modified XYZ, or this is what I added, or this is what I changed. It's not just specific to one person. Let's say like a developer, where you need that only that developer is able to go in and read their own code, for example, okay? Next, we give it our source, okay? Where's our data coming from? And then also, next, we give it our target, okay? So we tell it where our data is going to, okay? Once we have our source and our destination set up, what we're gonna do is then set up the actual integration portion of it, okay? So on the right-hand side, we're gonna have all of our sources, right? Where's our data coming from? On the left-hand side, we're gonna see all of our target fields, where's that data going to? And inside of this interface, we are just simply selecting from the drop-down box where we want those fields to map from point A to point B. Okay, so that's pretty easy. When you talk about from a functional consultant perspective, basically somebody that creates these integrations needs to know, I need to know what those different fields are that I want integrated between, okay? And then of course we can also go into some additional things. I'll be really creative here and name this a test. You can see here that we have, different types of tasks that we can do as well, right? So we can run an additional integration off of one, right? Maybe chaining integrations together. We can run additional scripts. We can send emails. This is a very popular one, especially when integrations are on a scheduled basis, right? We don't see those integrations running in the background. So we want something that's going to alert us if something fails, okay? So we do this internally here at E1 as well. E1 heavily relies on SmartConnect as its engine in the background. For example, what we do here is, or in this email setup is, when somebody purchases support hours off of our website, we have an integration that creates an invoice in our ERP. It creates a project for us, for our project, for our services team to log hours against. And then it sends us an email that says, company XYZ has just purchased 2 hours of support. So that way we know when people purchase support, we're able to help them right away. In the same instance, we have ones that maybe we didn't collect the customer information off the website. Maybe somebody didn't fill in that information. So we have maps that alert us as well that say, hey, this integration failed, here's the error, go fix it. So you can include those errors in those emails as well. When we talk about the user perspective, I think the error processing is really a fun part to cover. We have a really cool error processing system, okay, where if we go ahead and edit this, we can say, hey, all right, here's the error that happened with us trying to push data into that system. Here's the error that we received from that system. From within this screen, we can go ahead and, change whatever might need to be changed in here, and then rerun right from within this screen here. In the same instance, we talked about how SmartConnect for your customers, it can be run whenever you want those integrations to run, right? We have those real-time integration, those changes integrations. If we wanted to, set up a schedule for a customer as well, we could set up any of these integrations on a schedule, right? Daily, weekly, monthly, once every 5 minutes, however you want those integrations to run. And then, one thing I also want to talk about is our REST services. So this is something that, if you have an API, this is where it comes down to, you being confident that SmartConnect can connect to multiple systems, right? So what we do internally when we look at an API, a website essentially, I guess in layman terms, that allows us to connect to it, we look at the API. So when we look at the API, we say, hey, does it have a way for us to get the data out? Does it have a way for us to push that data in? If yes, what do those fields look like, or what do those services return to us? So that's what we look at to determine, if SmartConnect can use the API. If we can't, then what we look at is alternatives, right? Can we get to it via ODBC connection? Can we get to it via SQL? Can we get a file export that we can, automatically grab that and then, run those integrations after that? So there's lots of different ways that we can set those up. And if you don't know, we're always here to help. Yesterday I probably had about 6 different questions with 6 different APIs. Can you guys integrate with this? So then we do that, what I just talked about. We dive into that API and look for those different types of methods, and we're happy to check on those for you. All right, let's jump back into my PowerPoint here. So, how do we qualify these customers? We can identify these. We can identify these, based on different types of criteria, okay? So maybe some questions that you can ask your customers: what systems do you work with, okay? How do you want to move that data from between those systems, right? And maybe, sometimes it's maybe even just one system that they're working with. Maybe they want to pull data out and push it back in from that same system, modify and then push it back in. So, how many people in your team work in Excel? How do you do your journal entries? How do you, do your sales orders, etc. So there's a lot of, common areas that we have built out with our templates as well that can help you get started right out of the gate. But for those not common scenarios, we also have what's called an Excel add-in. Okay, so any Excel spreadsheet that your customers use, we can add that add-in in, and they can push data right from within that spreadsheet into another system. So they don't need to copy and paste or, duplicate data entry between 2 different systems. I like to use an example internally how we use this as well. So I used to do the accounting when I first started here at eWin Solutions. I was our business manager, 7 years ago already. And when people paid by check, I'd have to go in, open up each invoice, apply that invoice, that check number, the check date, and apply that dollar amount to that invoice. Okay, so that's something that drove me crazy because, it's something that's not really using my brain for what I intended it to be. But it's just that repetitive task that keeps people so busy. So finally, I threw my hands up in the air. I'm like, there's got to be an easier way. So one of my consultants here, actually what he did is he did a get data into Excel. And so what we're doing is we're pulling all of our open invoices into a spreadsheet, and I'm able to apply all the checks at one time. I assign the dollar amount, the document date, and in an additional case, we need to update renewal dates, for, let's say, SmartConnect in our system as well. So that's all in one spreadsheet. Once I have all those checks in at one time, I hit Run Map. It goes in and updates our ERP. with that amount applied, and it goes ahead and updates our CRM system as well with the expiry date. So, think of those customers as well doing repetitive type things that they shouldn't be, right? They should be using their brains for other things. SmartConnect can be used to clean data as well. Okay, so sometimes they have that bad data. For example, maybe they want to change all the states that are listed as North Dakota to ND, or vice versa. Or maybe you want to pull that data out, update any inventory items, etc. Okay. And then lastly, any customers that want to keep their systems in sync and making sure those systems are talking to each other. And we've touched on that a few different times. Maybe it's Concur to Business Central or Concur to GP, or maybe we're doing Zendesk and CRM, right? We can move data between different systems as well. All right. So when it comes to delivering SmartConnect and talking with customers about some key points of SmartConnect, we want to address some of the above. Okay, so with SmartConnect, you can keep your costs within budget. This is especially important, I think, in today's economy, as a lot of companies seem to be losing revenue. However, I also see the flip side of it, where there's thriving and new emerging companies as well. So, in either case with SmartConnect being flexible, you're going to be able to keep those budgets in check. If there's a change in plans, let's say, that you figure out, you're going to be able to accommodate those changes for that customer without having to rewrite, hundreds of lines of code. Faster go lives with SmartConnect, you are going to be able to market faster, being able to go to market faster with your customers. SmartConnect was made with the functional consultant in mind at your company. So this means it's going to, free up that developer's time, allowing that developer to do developing things, once again, what they were hired for, and not necessarily stuck on integrations, okay? So there's no need to wait months to get in that schedule for that developer. It's a solution your team can make money on, services as well, and then decide, if you want to maintain those integrations internally, or if you want your customer to maintain those integrations as well. So it's a tool, that's helpful for that customer as well. So, with this, you're reducing your risk as well. So if you have custom development, for example, you risk that developer leaving, okay? You risk not having any documentation. You risk someone not being able to pick up where that last person left off. So SmartConnect has little risk with it because of its no code, or low code if you want, interface. So customers want to feel a sense of control, right? I think we can attest to that in today's economy more than anything. We saw how people went crazy over buying toilet paper. Well, that was the one thing they could control, right? So, people do things emotionally out of control as well. So, in my opinion, people should be buying SmartConnect because it's one thing they can control, right? You can control how you want your systems to talk to each other. So I think it's really important that they feel a sense of security as well with SmartConnect. And last, repeatable solutions. A big benefit to SmartConnect, as mentioned before, is that you can repeat these solutions, okay? So you may have some of the same integrations for customers, save those mappings, save those integrations. You can export them, import them, and, just kind of modify them for the next customer, okay? Once again, you also have those templates available that can help you get started right out of the gate. I want to talk about some resources that we also have available. Okay, so we have lots of different templates that are available. We have a ton of different YouTube videos as well. So if you need a video that might be pre-recorded from us, certainly feel free to check out the E1 Solutions YouTube channel. We have specific demos around, Business Central, customer engagement, Zendesk, PopDoc, or one of our other products that works with SmartConnect really well. And then, of course, if you we have demos like this and webinars like this as well on our public page as well, and that can be found on ewinsolutions.com and then underneath the events tab, so that you can check out all the different events that we have available there as well. On that events tab, you will find a few different types of trainings that we have available as well. So we really encourage our partners to become trained on SmartConnect. This is a huge part of being successful. This way you can not only identify and deliver those solutions to your customers, but you can do it with confidence as well. Of course, we're always an extension to your team and have a full services team if you'd like to handle those integrations as well. Some partners like to think of this as a way of reducing their own internal risk, and maybe they just don't have the full capacity as well. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. We are an extension of your team as well. So when I'm just going to touch on a little bit on these two trainings. We have multiple trainings available, but these two are the specific ones that I always recommend. So we have private online training. Okay, so this is where we can, take you and your team and train them specifically on what you want to learn about SmartConnect. Okay, usually we start with a high-level overview, things you definitely need to know about SmartConnect, but then also things that you maybe are stuck on or want, help creating. The other option is, virtual boot camps. We have these every month between Business Central, GP, CRM focused. And number 3 and 4, we've actually just added those into our schedule. So virtual boot camps specifically around CRM, and then advanced trainings on things like our REST connector, right? Setting up those different integrations to those APIs and those websites. Let's talk about pricing and how you position it to your customers. So just for reference, these are US prices, okay? So we do have different price lists on our website based on different currencies. My recommendation when we're recommending SmartConnect is to sell at least the standard level, okay? If you're not quite sure on how many connections, I'll touch on what a connection is in just a bit here. If you're not quite sure on the number of connections you need, this at least gets you 4 connections for different systems and their test environments, right? So if you know for sure they're using more than 4 different systems they are connecting to, then obviously move up tiers. But put yourself in a position to be successful and not have to go back to that customer and ask for more money. I would also suggest including the $100 per month unlimited support in both the essentials and standard bucket where support is not included. This is so when your consultants or your customers are creating these integrations, they have someone to call or email when you need help, okay? These tiers are flexible as well. So the customer can move up or they can move down levels at any time. The nice part about SmartConnect subscription is that it is a month-to-month contract, right? So this is, sometimes attractive too. Let's say if you are doing migrations, right? Maybe you only need a 3-month subscription to do a migration, and we're not going to lock you in outside of that month. So, and the same thing with that support. The support that you add on in the essentials or standard bucket, it's $100 per month. That is a 6-month commitment. After that, it can be dropped at any time. However, most times, that 6 months is, when that first 6 months is usually when you are creating those integrations. So anything that comes up, it is so nice to have that on hand and available. So let me take a moment to define what a connection is as well, okay? So a connection, I like to think of as a system that you're connecting to, okay? So Business Central would be a connection. GP would be a connection. CRM or D365, those would be connection. Zendesk, right? At each REST connection that you set up would be 1 connection, okay? So everybody's gonna at least need 2 connections because they have a point A and a point B. okay? Outside of that, you have your test systems, if you have files, etc. Files would all fall into one connection, no matter what type it is, or if you use multiple files. FTP also falls underneath the file type connection. If you want, you can find that all on our website at e1solutions.com underneath the partners portal. It allows that it'll list out, per connection and how it's defined as well on the price list. So with both, with SmartConnect, you can go beyond Microsoft, and I think that's one thing that we're seeing in a lot of our partners and customers is, they're delving in different areas. Not everybody just has a Microsoft-based product. They have different systems that they want integrated. So it gives you the opportunity to go beyond just Microsoft. We can, work with different departments as well with SmartConnect. Okay, so you can help out your sales and marketing team. You can help out your help desk teams. You can help out, your leadership teams, etc. Okay, and once again, you can deploy those integrations a lot faster with SmartConnect. And last, I just want to, just reiterate that E1 is here to help. We have internal use keys if you're a full partner of ours. So you can set those up internally, create, that demo environment, or if you want to have those trial keys as well, we can get those set up for you. We have all those blogs and KB articles, videos that are available, training once again that's available. And then one of myself, a partner development manager in each region as well. So we do have people, kind of all over the world. We have people located, our main office is in Fargo, North Dakota, where most of us are based, but we have people in Toronto, in The Hague, the Netherlands, in Copenhagen, Austin, Texas. So we're kind of spread all out to make sure that we have all different areas covered. So I guess thanks for joining me today on how to sell SmartConnect. My email address is up there for you. If you don't know who your partner development manager is, we also have Mary Charujas and Michelle Ani on our team. Certainly feel free to email any questions into sales@e1solutions.com, and we can, point you in the right direction. So, all right. I am going to see if anybody has any questions. Looks like I have a long one here. Give me just a second to read it. Oh yeah, okay, so I'll summarize this question. So basically this person is asking, if a partner sells SmartConnect, they get an estimate for their customer, and this isn't, can be a way that we can do this as well, especially for your first integrations. Basically the way that it would work is you would sell SmartConnect to your customers. We would get that estimate available for you. But obviously you as a partner want a way to learn how to use this. So the question is, can we shadow that process of you internally doing that? And the answer to that is yes. The way that we like to do that is we create the integrations, and then after we've created them, we sit down with you and we walk through how we created those, and maybe some, maybe some roadblocks that we ran into and how we got around them, that sort of thing. So that is definitely, is actually a pretty common practice for our first-time partners and creating those integrations for their first customers. SAP Business One, that's not one that I'm familiar with. It's definitely something that I can check on for you as well. I do know that we work with NetSuite, SAP NetSuite, but I'm not quite sure on the Business One side. So I'll check on that for you. All right. If you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me. It looks, oh, I have one more question here. Okay, so the question is actually based around some promotions that we have going on currently. So one of the current promotions that we have going on for Q3 is you purchase SmartConnect subscription, the standard level or higher, and you receive 5 PopDoc users. For those not familiar with PopDoc on the call, what it is it's a query tool that allows us to see different sets of data. Okay, so for example, maybe we want to see our CRM data inside of Business Central without actually integrating it, or vice versa. Maybe we want to embed a widget inside of CRM and see our Business Central data, or see our Zendesk tickets, right? So PopDoc allows us, query that data, view lists of data, combine lists of data from different systems, and then also embed that window inside of a different system, sometimes eliminating the need for migrations, integrations, saving on some of that Azure consumptions as well. The other cool thing is that you can actually use PopDoc as a data source inside of SmartConnect. So, but back to the question. You can't use more than one promotion. Okay, so one of the other promotions is that if you prepay a year in advance for subscription, you do receive a 5% discount. Okay, 2 years is 8% discount, 3 years in advance is 12% discount. So you can't combine the offers. You couldn't, purchase the standard subscription, get those 5 free PopDoc users, and then also get the 5% discount for paying in advance. So you kind of have to maybe figure out some maths there and see which way is the better option to go. All right. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, alicia.bement@e1solutions.com, or to our sales team at sales@e1solutions.com, and I can put you in contact with your account manager. Appreciate everybody coming on today, and I hope you learned how to sell SmartConnect today. All right, thanks everybody.